In American textbooks, Yorktown often appears as a clean ending, a scene in which George Washington's army forced Cornwallis to surrender and the revolution turned toward triumph. Yet the documents of 1781 suggest a victory built less by a single nation than by a carefully timed alliance. By that year, Washington's army was exhausted. Supplies were thin, money was scarce, and the British still held important positions. The war could have dragged on indefinitely if not for the French commitment that had grown since 1778. France was not a distant admirer of the cause. It was a partner with ships, soldiers, money, artillery, engineers, and diplomatic weight. When the French commander Rochambeau arrived, he did not compete with Washington for control. He listened, advised, and cooperated. The original hope had been to strike New York, but intelligence, distance, and the Navy's movements changed the calculation. The two commanders turned south toward Virginia, where Cornwallis had become vulnerable. The real lock on the trap came at sea. In September 1781, French warships under Admiral de Grasse met the British fleet in the Chesapeake. The battle did not always receive the same attention as the land siege, but its effect was decisive. The French held the bay. British ships could not break through to relieve Cornwallis, carry out an evacuation, or bring fresh troops. Once the coastline was sealed, the army at Yorktown was trapped. On land, French and American artillery battered the defenses together. French engineers helped shape the siege lines. French regulars stood beside Continental troops. The encirclement was not symbolic, it was practical and total. Cornwallis was not facing one army alone, but a coalition that had synchronized land power and sea power with unusual precision. Washington remained the recognized leader of the alliance, and his role was essential. He coordinated the campaign, held the coalition together, and gave the operation its direction. But leadership was not the same thing as sole authorship. The victory depended on French ships preventing escape, French resources sustaining the campaign, and French soldiers helping carry it out. After independence, the United States needed a national story, and Yorktown became one of its founding images. Over time, that story centered more fully on Washington and the American army. France, soon absorbed into revolution and then broader European wars, faded from the popular version of events. Modern historians usually reject the idea that Yorktown was an American victory achieved in isolation. They describe it instead as an Allied success, with the Battle of the Chesapeake often treated as the decisive moment that made surrender unavoidable. So the answer is not that Americans won alone, nor that France replaced them in the story. Yorktown was the result of partnership.